Hi and welcome to GeeksforGeeks. I am Siddharth Hazra and currently I'm an SD at GeeksforGeeks. Besides that, I'm also a candidate master at Code Forces, and today we would be doing the post-contest analysis of GFG Weekly Coding Contest. Let us first talk about what I felt or what was the feedback of this contest. What I felt was the very first problem was an easy, but it required a pen and paper to note down the observation. Besides that, the implementation was easy. The idea was a little bit easy to guess if you are having a pen and paper. Moving forward to the next problem, which is of mean binary search tree. So basically, it is kind of dependent on a very famous or the most important concept or the property of binary search tree. That is, the in-order traversal of a binary search tree gives us a sorted result. This was, if you knew this fact, then the second problem is a kind of easy to guess. The last problem the last problem what I felt was there were some missing conditions from the problem setter. Like the problem was very complete, but they could have given a case where making the graph is invalid, where the graph can't be made. If they had appended the solution, then the last solution kind of very fits into this programming list itself. So besides that, they have not mentioned that condition. What I felt was like इससे थोड़ा और hard बना सकते थे. तो third problem लगता भी. Apart from that, the whole contest was a easy to guess. If you know context for the to the very first problem. The very first problem, I would just share the entire screen. So just let me know if I'm audible as well as visible. So now my iPad would be taking care of this. So now let me just see ऐसा कुछ होता है यार. एक सेकंड ये स्क्रीन मिररिंग पे ऑप्शन क्यों नहीं आ रहा है. आ गया. Okay, so let's talk about the first problem. The first problem tells us that, let's say let's instance for understand that it is told like you are sitting in a classroom. Okay, you are sitting in a classroom, and whatever you do, the next person would imitate you. वो हम लोग बोलते हैं ना, kind of we say in our school days, like our teachers used to say, if one person is going to the washroom, why other person feels like going to the washroom. एक साथ सबको washroom कैसे लग रहा है? We say that. In the same manner, it is told that we can flip the bits. Like, what do you mean by flipping the bits? We can make 0 to 1 or 1 to 0. This is meant by flipping the bits. Okay, we can flip the bits, but provided that they should be adjacent and they both would flip. Okay, like remember the example, when one would go to the washroom, the other person would follow him. In the same manner, when this one would be flipped to 1, the adjacent would be automatically flipped to 1. Okay, this is the scenario itself. अर्थात हिंदी में समझा जाए तो आप दो एडजेसेंट मतलब अगल बगल दो जीरो वैल्यूज को 1 पे कर सकते हो या दो 1 वैल्यूज को 0 पे कर सकते हो. वो दोनों अगल बगल ही होने चाहिए और दो होने चाहिए. ऐसा नहीं, दिस डजंट मीन that let's say this is one is also available. Okay, this doesn't mean that if I flip this bit, this either I can flip these two bit or I can flip these two bit. I can flip 2 bits at a time. ये भी important है. हर पर्सन का एक ही दोस्त है. Okay, now let us try to solve up this problem. In this problem, we are told that given a set of what we are told, we need to convert it to 1, I think so, but let me just confirm. We need to convert it to 1. Yes, absolutely, we need to convert it to 1. And let me see the test cases also, I think so. Yep. So this test case, I can simply write down this test case. Okay. It is nothing but, just wait a sec, 1100 1100. Let me write down the second test case too. 100 10 100 100 10 and 100. Yep, sure. So now let us see this in action. See, I need, by flipping out the bits, what my aim is to make everything as one. मुझे bits flip करके सबको one बनाना. So if I focus on these two, okay, if I focus on these two, if I flip these two would become 1 1. They would flip in pairs. Okay. If I flip these two, then this would be converted to 1, this would be converted to 1. Fair enough? Do I make sense? The very next thing is, if you observe, I can flip these two bit and I can make it 1 1. I can flip these two bit, I can make it 1 1. But I need to flip in pairs. If I flip it, this one would become 0, this one would become 1. If I again flip it, this one would become 0, this one would become 1. So if I just note down this constraint, can I do this? Can I solve in this fashion? मुझे यहाँ से पता चल गया कि जब ये वाली condition होती है, so 1 is becoming 0, 1 is becoming 1. Like you are solving this side and you have a problem this side. So if let's say you are having something like 1 0. So this thing can never be converted to 1 1. Why? Because if you try to flip this to 1, this would be flipped to 0. Because pairs में ही काम हो सकता है. So I now understand that this case is not valid. Okay, ये पहला मेरा observation है. Always, like I say this in most of my stream, I'm repeating it again. Whenever you see a solution, the solution is not important, because there is a very rare probability that you would see the same question again in your later life. You should learn the art of problem solving. You should focus on कि मैं इस ऐसे प्रॉब्लम देखूं तो मैं कैसे सॉल्व कर सकता हूं. Whenever I see a problem like this, how can I think of the solution? So try to focus on the thinking process, how I'm drawing out observation. So now I have an observation that this thing is kind of not valid. So now I take this further. If I have 1 1, I can solve it. So this thing is not valid. So now again, if I have something like 1 1 1, then this thing also can't be solved. Why? If you observe that if I try to make this as 0 0, again the same condition is happening. Again, if I do, I can't do it. I observed something like this, that when the presence of 1 is once, it is not possible. When the presence of 1 is 2, it is possible. When the presence of 1 is 3, it is again not possible. When the presence of 1 is 4, it is again possible by flipping these two pairs. So I can see a pattern in this, that whenever the number of 1, the number of okay, like it is the number of zeros. Okay, yeah, number of zeros. Okay, let me just flip it again. Like this would be 2 zeros, I can do it. 3 zeros, I can't do it. Same thing, like I was thinking that I need to convert it to 0. If I have 4, I can do it again by flipping these two, by flipping these two, by flipping these two. But this I can never do it. This I can never do it. So I can see that the presence of 0 odd number of times makes this impossible to solve. कैसे टेस्ट केसेस ऑब्जर्वेशन से लाया देखा, इससे पता चला कि ऐसा कुछ से हमें प्रॉब्लम फील होने लगा, ऐसे कुछ पे प्रॉब्लम फील आया. तो आई रोट डाउन दैट टेस्ट केस. I made it further to 1 1. I can solve it. Then I saw that if it is 0 0, sorry, I made it 0 0, I can solve it. I made it 3 0, I can't solve it. Again, I made it 4 0, I can solve it. So the presence of 0 odd number of times is not possible. Okay, rest in all other condition, what it can be done is, let's say it is 6 number of zeros, so I can solve them in pairs. Okay, That is the idea. One small other branch of idea that can pop into your mind is that what if, Siddharth, what is the scenario when 0, 0 is this side and 0 is this side and 0 is this side? Lest everything is filled with 1. Let's say, if you observe, I can make 1 go on that side. I can make all 0 consolidated at one point. How? If I flip these two, this would be converted to 0, this would be converted to 1. Again, if I flip these two, this would be converted to 0, this would be converted to 1. See, how am I moving forward and making all the zeros go on one side? Then again, 1 can be made to 0 and this one would be made to 1. Again, these two zeros can be made to 1, 1. See how it got consolidated at one point. Okay, so I can basically travel the number of zeros, and the number of flipping thing is not a constraint here. बहुत पैसा अपने पास बहुत पैसा खर्च कर सकते हैं flip में. I have a lot of money, I can spend a lot of money over flip. Flipping is not a constraint over here. I can flip as much as I want, and my only motive is to convert everything to 1. So if the number of zeros are odd, it is not possible. If the number of zeros is even, it is always possible. If, let's say, you have a constraint, like, so that what is the scenario when 0 is kind of at all places? It is also solved. So now do I make sense? So simply what I would do is I would count the number of zeros. If it is odd, it is not possible. If it is even, it is possible. So now tell me if the intuition is clear or not. The solution would be clear in the next 1 minute. Okay, contest was so easy, man. Hey, teacher Siddharth. Arey Valentine, I'm not your teacher, man. I think first question is incomplete. No. This question, because I thought these numbers were integers. Simply count zeros. Easy question, first one. So everyone is comfortable with the explanation. Like if you had the intuition, like yes, Siddharth Hazra kind of explained the intuition, give me a quick. Because what I think is intuition is the most important aspect of problem solving. Other than that, it is very easy. So I would say someone is telling me that I never thought that these are integers. Okay. So basically it can be thought of that this is not integer. Why? Because you have something like this. So you kind of know that this is, for most of the programming languages, when it is double quotes thing, when a particular thing is in the double quotes thing, it is inside, it is a string. That's why the the small element of the string would be characters. So now what I would do is I would initialize a counter as 0. Now I would say I would simply use a for each loop for auto e dash s. If e is equal to 0, then I can simply do C++. At the end, if C modulo t, after dividing it by 2, if it is an odd number, I would say return no at that instance. Else, if the control is not returning at that point, I would say return yes at that instance. Quickly tell me the line number at which you were not able to understand. I am confident enough that this solution would pass. So generating the URL beforehand itself so that I can just pass it on and I can move forward to the next problem. Yes, kind of I am pushing it. Quickly tell me the line number at which you are able to understand, else give me a quick 1 in the chat as this thing is clear and you want me to move forward to the next line. Sir, please tell me from one line in one line that from where should I start learning tree material for solving tree problems. Learn all the terminologies of tree, learn DFS, learn BFS, learn level order, in order and post order traversal, and then start solving problems over trees. BST was easy. I would show you how. Don't worry. So now I would tell you why it is easy. I would make it easy ना. मुझे तो easy बनाने के पैसे मिलते हैं. आई एम पेड टू मेड इजी. ओके, चलो इस क्वेश्चन को समझते हैं. ग्रेटर देन इक्वल टू, लेस देन इक्वल टू. चलो, डिड आई शेयर द होल स्क्रीन? Okay, no, I didn't share the whole screen. Just a sec. See, it is told, like, before we move forward, let us first have a important aspect of binary search tree. Let us first understand an important aspect of binary search tree. Okay, let me first make a binary search tree. BST, like then it would be easy. Okay, let me make a binary search tree. Mm-hmm. 8, 3, 10, 1, 6, 14, 4, 7, and this is 13. Okay, now binary search tree is a tree where left is small, left would be small, right would be bigger than the root. How to remember this? Like most of you are right-handed. Okay, most of you are right-handed. So your left hand would have less power and your right hand would have more power. So you can remember in this scenario that the head is the root and the left side elements would be less, right side elements would be more. Because I have more power in right hand than the left hand. Because I am right-handed. Okay, left-handers won't relate, but minorities are left-handers. So you can kind of use this idea in example in your mind, like you can associate with this thing in your mind, that so that you are able to remember. BST kind of follows the property that the left side is small and the right side is big. Okay, and this is true for all the node elements. Let us recheck that. If you observe, see, left side of 14 is less. Okay, and 3's left side is less, right side is more. That is why I can say that yes, this is possible. Okay, now there is one more fact that I want to tell you. Okay, this was the property of a tree. So talking about the definition of a binary search tree is, binary search tree is a tree where the left child of the node is less than the root, where the right child of the node is greater than the root, and this is true for all the nodes in the binary search tree. Okay, now there is an important fact which I can't really give you, like I can prove it, but this is an important fact that you need to remember. Like I can bet you that around 60% of the binary search tree problems revolve around the property of this fact. What is that property? The property is that in order traversal of BST gives a sorted result. Okay, in order traversal of BST gives us a sorted result. ये क्या होता है? What do I mean by this? What is in order traversal? In order traversal is nothing but left root right. Okay, so see, left root right. So 8's left is 3, 3's left is 1. So first I would visit this one. Then root. 3's left is visited. So root would be visited. So 3 would get visited. Right is 6. But 6 left is not visited. So 6 left would be 4. 6 left is visited. Now 6 would get visited. And now if left and root is done. So now comes the right. So it would get visited. Now I can say that 3 is visited, left is visited, right is visited. So 8's left side is visited. So now 8 would get visited. 8 is getting visited. Now left and root is done. So right would be there. So 10's right. 10's first left would get visited. Left is not present. So then what would get visited after left is done? 10 would 10 would get visited. Okay, 10 would get visited. After 10 is done, root is being visited. Then right. So right is 14. But 14's left is not visited. So 14's left would be visited. Then 14 would get visited because 14's left is done. So 14 would get visited. So 14's right is not present. Now 10's left, right, everything is visited. Now if you observe that this whole result is a sorted result. Okay. Did I made sense till this point? Give me a quick yes or no. Give me a quick yes or no that I made sense or not. Like this fact, was I able to prove this fact? If you are done with this fact, then this problem is very easy.
For not going empty.
I'm really a fan of Siddharth. The way he explains is just love. एनर्जेटिक हो रहा ऐसे मत करो प्लीज टू बी ऑनेस्ट the thing is if somehow he got demotivated because of you na so karma hit kar jayega. It might be a scenario that karma took a hit on you, so don't try to demotivate others. Try to bring a positive vibe around you that you are also getting above and you are also pulling others with you. So ये थोड़ा positiveness रखो. Like ऐसा मत करो. Like everyone should be good. Okay. What is this Java? This is no Java, no C++. This is simple explanation and this is same for all languages. Okay. Fair enough. Now, it is asked in this question that they want two results. Very first result is given a key, let's say this is K, given a value K, they want a value which is less than equal to K. So they want a value which is less than equal to K. This is one value they want. The very next value is greater than equal to K. Greater than equal to K. Okay. So if let's say the value was 11, if let's say K's value is 11, then the answer for this less than equal to क्या होगा 10, because 10 is less than equal to 11. If 11 is present, then we would return 11, but 11 is not present, so we should return a value which is just less than 11. So I would return 10 on it. Greater than equal to 11, greater than equal to 11 would be 13, just greater than equal to 11. So this value would be 13 if this was the given BST and this was the key itself. If the value was given, I would have returned the value, but the value is not given. So 11 से कम बहुत सारे हैं. There are a lot of values less than 11, but 10 is the last value which is less than 11. So I would return this first one. Greater than equal to 13, nearly greater than equal to 13. So 14 and 13 are both are greater than 11, but we are taking 13 because of this thing. Okay. Now अब हो गया. Do I made sense? Like यहाँ पे the question is trying to ask you like ऐसा कोई वैल्यू बताओ जो मुझे की दे दिया गया है, आइदर वो वैल्यू की से की हो या आइदर वो जस्ट की से छोटा हो. द सेकेंड इज आइदर वो की हो या की से जस्ट बड़ा हो. जस्ट बड़ा को याद रखना, जस्ट ग्रेटर देन के और जस्ट लेस देन के. There is a just thing that is also appendant here, kind of. Okay, clear enough? Now, what I can do is I can simply traverse the BST, store everything in an array, and then I can return, like traverse the array. Okay, then I can return these two values. Like I can just make a variable. This is, let's say, less than equal to L, and this is less than equal to M. So what I can do is, let's say this value is called as L, this value is called as M. So 1 is less than equal to 11, so I would update 1 here. Then I would say 3 is less than equal to 11, so I would update this value to 3. 4 is less than equal to 11, I would update this to 4. 6 is less than equal to 11, I would update this to this. 7 is less than equal to 11, so I would update it with 7. 8 is less than equal to 11, so I would update this. 10 is less than equal to 11, so I would update this. Now I have 13. So 13 is greater than k, so I can't update L. And now 13 is greater than equal to 11, so I need to update this value. So I would update this value as 13. Okay. So what I can do is the last updated value in L would be my answer, and the first updated value in M would be my answer. लास्ट बार अगर मैं सॉर्टेड वैल्यू में इटरेट किया तो लास्ट अपडेटेड वैल्यू L हो जाएगा और इधर में फर्स्ट अपडेटेड वैल्यू M हो जाएगा. What is L? L is less than equal to K. M is greater than equal to K. Okay. Okay. That shouldn't create confusion because majority of my explanation is Hindi, but when I'm explaining the crux of a solution, I translate it. Majority of my explanation is in English, but when I explain a crux of a solution, I translate it to Hindi, so that people from Jharkhand and Bihar, which are not very much exposed to English, like me myself, I was never really much exposed to English in my school days. I had a little bit difficult in understanding. Okay, English. So Hindi में I'm properly able to relate. Like मुझे चीज़ें ज़्यादा सच्ची समझ आती थी पहले. Now I'm able to understand and comprehend good English, but at that point of time I was not that good enough. So इसीलिए I just switch. Okay, the output was okay. So now I would explain that there was a test case 4 9 and the output was 2. Shouldn't really be the test case. Okay, the output was 2. I would explain that. Don't worry. I would explain. Now it is told that if anything is not present, then consider it as -1. So what would be the result? The result would be nothing but 10 plus 13 divided by 2 and the seal value of it would be my answer. Now there was a test case where it is told like 4 and 9. So 4 and 9. So, and the key was what? Can you quickly tell me the key? Let's say the key was anything. Key was, I think, 4. Yep, key was, I think so, 4. Okay, key was 9. Okay, less than equal to, I think you have seen the wrong test case. Okay, so this thing is this thing clear? Is this whole story clear? Everyone is clear with the story. Okay, So now if I'm given this, what I can do is I can simply traverse over that. Last updated value would be my answer and more updated value would be answer. If this is given in an interview, this would, you can surpass the result in the online judge. This would pass. But if you're given this in an interview, what you can, like your interviewer would tell you, can you optimize this further? So what you can do is you can do an in order traversal, and then you can find the lower bound and upper bound. Okay, but this thing is not needed if you are a beginner. Okay, the very next thing what you can do is, as you are visiting in the sorted format and you are interested in just two values, why to store it? I can simply have an L and M in the values and I can update it accordingly. But there would be a small thing. See, the last updated value on L would be my answer, but the first updated value of M would be my answer. So last updated ठीक है, last तक वो सही answer update होके it would give me the answer. Like L would get updated at the end, it would give me answer. But if M would keep updating, that would be a problem. I don't want M to keep updating. But what I want is, I want M to update only once. So what I can do is, I can simply keep a flag, and this flag would be initialized with true. And whenever I am updating the value of M, I would make that flag equal to 0. So now before updating the value of M, I would check if the value of that flag, if it is equal to 1, then only I would update it, else I won't update it. So just after the first updation, I would make that value go to 0. What is this problem? I really think I need a subscription at this point. Okay. So basically, if you are a beginner and you don't know what is flag, flag is basically a variable where we would keep that value as 1. So that just to tell me that if this value has been updated or not. So whenever I'm updating it, I am kind of telling it. This is just like the scenario. Like let's say I have started doing gym. Like I have joined a gym and I have told my mother, I am doing intermittent fasting. I don't know how many of you know this, but intermittent fasting is a kind of thing where we just don't eat for some hours. So I told my mom that I want to eat one meal. I don't want to eat more than one meal. But I can't really remember that I have eaten or not, or how many meals I have eaten. So my mother would keep a track. So my mother is keeping a track that I have eaten 0 meals up till now. So when I would eat one meal, I would ask my mom, ma'am, can I eat this meal? Mom would say, yes, you have not eaten up till now, so you can eat this meal. Then my mom's meal count would get updated to 1. So next time when I go to eat a meal, the second time when I go to eat a meal, I would ask my mom, and my mom would tell me that yes, you have already eaten, so don't eat further. So in the same manner, by using the same example, what I can do is I can initialize a boolean as true. So before updating n, I would check if the value of that OK value is true or not. If it is OK, that means I have not updated till now. So I would update it and I would change its value to 0. So next time when I go to update it, I would check if its value is equal to 1. If its value is equal to 1, I would update it. Else, I won't update it because I know that it has been updated before. Like my mother, I have already know that my mother is already telling me that yes. So here, my mother is this boolean variable. My mother is known as flag. Okay. So, अब ये आंसर बन गया. Okay. Now see how cunningly I implement this solution. Okay. Like today, I won't really require till 10 p.m. So now what I can do is I can simply have an in order traversal. So I would name it as rec I would need the root node for traversing. Then I would pass by reference L, that is less than equal to, and pass by reference M, that is less than equal to. Then I would have that key as K. Key as K. Then I would also have that variable, my mother, OK. Okay. And I would initialize OK as true. So now initially I can say int OK is equals to true. Initially OK would be equal to true. So now I would say if root is equals to null, return from that point. Okay. Else I would first visit the left. So rec of root dash left comma L comma M comma K comma OK. Then I would visit the root node. So in here I would first take out the data of the root node. So root dash data. So now I would say that if data is less than equal to the value K, then I would keep updating L. Like last updated L would be my answer. So L is equal to D. I can simply do that. But before updating M, I would first say if OK is equals to true, OK is equals to true means what? OK has not, like this M has not been updated up till now. And if this current D is greater than equal to the variable K itself. If these two scenarios are getting respected, then only I would update M and make K as false. मैंने अपनी मम्मी को बता दिया कि मैंने एक मील ले लिया. I told my mother that I have taken one meal. Okay, so that I don't take another meal. So now rec of root dash right and L comma M comma K comma okay. This is enough. So now I need to initialize L as -1, M as -1. Why? Because if these two variables don't exist, then I want to consider -1. Now I would call this function by calling root node L comma M comma key comma key comma okay. And now my answer is in my L and M. Now what I can do is to find out the seal variable. I can simply use the seal in C++. But when dividing by 2, I want the seal value. What I can do is I can simply do something like this. Return L plus M plus 1 divided by 2. This would give me the seal value. How? Let's say the value is 5. Okay. So 5 when divided by 2 should give me 3. So 3 plus 1 divided by 2 is equals to 3. Yes, this is correct. Now 6 when divided by 2, the seal value should be 3. Yes, 6 plus 1 that is 7. 7 divided by 2 is equals to 3.5, but integer division would give me 3. So adding plus 1 would give me always the seal value. So now let me just compile and run and see how many errors are we making. If I'm not making any errors, सही है, this is correct. चलो सही है. Okay, so now let me just give you this thing. Now tell me the point at which you are not able to understand. I would wait for next 1 minute. Now tell me if this BST thing is easy for you or not. Can you please explain return one, sir? Return 1 or return 0 difference? Where it is written 1 or 0 difference? Where it is? Can you tell me? Which line number? Can you tell me? When you write return, that means you are returning an integer value. Once again, explain the code. If root is equals to null, that means if I am outside the so if you're not understanding this, In order traversal, this is this. If root is equals to null, then I return in this fashion. Else I go to the left point, else root and then right. In the same manner, first we are, if root is equals to null, I return. Else I move forward to left, else I move forward to right. Now comes this scenario. Here, I just saw that L would keep updating and the last updated value of L would be my answer. That is less than equal to. D would, the first point where D is getting updated would be my answer. So I want the first point only, not the second or the third point. So I kept a variable to tell me if it is updated up till now or not. So yes, this variable was first equal to 1. When I found a point, I made it to 0. So now before updating, I would check if it is updated or not. Okay, this is the code itself. Am I clear, Thamim? If not, consider learning about in-order traversal and then seeing that. Please memorize that in-order traversal of a binary search tree always gives you a sorted format. Okay? I should be clear in this. Give me a quick 1 in the chat. Everyone. Thank you so much. Okay? Now let's move forward to the last problem. Like, I won't really explain the whole thing, but I would explain the idea. Okay? So now it is told in this question, okay, given a matrix, okay, like let us see this one, like let us open, like stop sharing, let me open this so that I don't need to trip my screen again and again. Okay, so now in this problem, it is told that given a matrix 0 0 0 1 0 2 1 0 1 1 1 2 2 0 2 1 and 2 2, it is told that there is a distance, that is like the value in those position is from 0 to 2. Like you need to build an undirected graph. Given a matrix, build an undirected graph where from I to j. What is I and j? I is this, j is this. Where the minimum distance of I and j is equal to the value that is given. Okay, minimum distance. Okay, let us understand the sample test case. The very first sample test case is zero, 1, 3, and this is 1, 0, 1. Then it is 3, 1, 0. Now see this thing. Now it is telling me that the minimum distance should be equal to, remember this. Please remember and focus on this, that the question demands a minimum distance, something known as minimum distance. Okay, something known as minimum distance. Okay, It wants the minimum distance of 0 and 0 as 0. Okay, 0. Let me change the color to something else. It wants the minimum distance of 0 and 1 as 1. So 0 and 1 has a minimum distance of 1. It wants the minimum distance of 0 and 2 as 3. So 0 and 2 should have a minimum distance. 0 and 2 should have a minimum distance of 3. Correct? It wants 1 and 0 to have a minimum distance of 1. 1 and 0 have a minimum distance of 1. True. It is telling me that the distance from 1 to 1 should be equal to 0. Yes, 1 to 1 is 0. Like the distance from me to me is 0, but the distance from me to my girlfriend house would be more. It wants the distance from 1 to 2 as 1. 1 to 2 as minimum distance should be equal to 1. Okay. It wants the minimum distance of 2 to 0 as 3. 2 to 0 as 3. Looks simple, but it is not. I will tell you why. Then 2 to 1 as 1. 2 to 1, the distance is 1. True. 2 to 2, distance from me to me is 0. True. Sahi. We made the graph something like this. But if you observe, we are respecting everything, but not a 1. What is that? They want the minimum distance of 2 to 0 as 3, but the minimum distance from 2 to 0 is 2, not 3, by following this path. That is why this graph is not possible. This graph is not possible. Okay. So now I understood how to make the graph, Siddharth. But after making out the graph, I want to recheck the values. That is really the all the constraints are respected or not. Like I can build out the graph, but is the minimum distance between all nodes is really 3 or not? Like building the graph is easy, I showed you just. But now I want the minimum distance. So we are given, like let us write down the things. We are given and we are told to find, like if we made out the graph is an undirected graph. The graph is an undirected graph. Okay. The graph is a weighted graph. The graph is a weighted graph. The graph is undirected, the graph is weighted. The very next, this is the property of the graph. What I want is, I want a feature where I can find the minimum distance between any two nodes. The feature required is, मतलब मेरे पे ऐसा एक feature चाहिए जिससे last में पता चले after making the graph that I was successful or not. I want a feature so that I can test that after making the graph it is correct with the given matrix or not. So the features I want is, the feature I want is, I want a superpower where I can find the minimum distance between any two nodes. Minimum distance, I want a feature something like this. If I have a feature like this, then I can simply make a graph like this. At the end, I can just test if really the minimum distance is respected or not. If the minimum distance is respected, I would say it is possible. If it is not respected, I would say it is not possible. Okay? फिर से पूरा एक बार हिंदी में समझते हैं एंड देन इन इंग्लिश. मैंने देखा कि मैं ग्राफ बना सकता हूँ आई और जे से. ग्राफ बनाने के बाद मैं मिनिमम डिस्टेंस फिर से निकाल के देख लूंगा कि जैसा उसने कहा था मैं वैसा कर पाया कि नहीं. अगर मैं कर पाया द आंसर इज पॉसिबल. अगर मैं नहीं कर पाया द आंसर इज नॉट पॉसिबल. What I can do is I can first make a graph with I and j. Then I need to check if the minimum distance that was given is respected or not. And I would say if it is respected, I would say yes. If it is not respected, I would say no. Seems simple, correct? So now I want this feature that the graph, these are the properties of the given graph, and I want this feature to be on that graph. So now let us search this feature. If you search this feature, even though if you didn't knew the algorithm, okay, I can say all pair shortest path in undirected graph. All pairs, I would just open the like it is kind of telling the very first thing that comes is Floyd Warshall. So I can simply copy paste all the thing that is given in Floyd Warshall. Like Floyd Warshall is a 3-liner solution. I can simply copy paste this 3 lines and I can solve this problem. And this problem, like this Floyd Warshall, what they want is they want you to give a matrix input. We already have a matrix input, so we don't really need to convert a graph and then find the shortest result. We can directly use the matrix input and provide the shortest result, right? Because Floyd Warshall accepts matrix. Okay, like there are two, adjacency list and matrix. Okay, there are two ways of graph representation. One is adjacency list matrix, one is adjacency list, one is adjacency matrix. So the Floyd Warshall accepts a adjacency matrix, and we are given a matrix. Floyd Warshall also requires a matrix, so this is a win-win situation. I bought a cake and my girlfriend also wants a cake. Okay, let's say I bought atta and my girlfriend wants roti. So I need to make roti and then I need to provide it to my girlfriend. But if my girlfriend only wants atta for her household, then I don't need to process it. In the same manner, Floyd Warshall wants a matrix input, and the given input is also in matrix. So I don't really need to build out the graph. I can directly take all those and give it to Floyd Warshall, find out all the minimum distance, and then I can compare if it is equal to that or not. Okay. So this is just like copy pasting all this thing. Like I would just show you also. I took up this. I would just keep it here. I would just keep it here inside. Okay, I would just keep it here so that you also know from where the solution is coming up. Like you would ask me, Siddharth, please explain me this. So that you don't really, yeah, good enough. I would remove the closing brackets so that you also have an idea. Now see from where I have this. Okay. So now if I kind of use the same solution, like I can simply use the given solution here, to be honest. Like any solution from the comments would solve the purpose. Or let me just see this. Okay, again solution. So now see this thing. अरे रे नहीं नहीं नहीं. See, while k is less than equal to this is equal to this. Okay, this 3 for loop is by using something like this. Okay, did I take the correct one? Yep, I took the correct one. So this thing is Floyd Warshall. This thing is Floyd Warshall. So we are calculating the distance using Floyd Warshall. Then we are tallying the distance. If the current distance is not equal to the distance that we have provided, we are returning false. Like एक भी ऐसा point आ गया जहाँ पर हम डिस्टेंस मिनिमम नहीं रख सके, that would be a false result. If there is only even at least one point also where I'm not able to respect the constraint, I would say it is not possible. So I would return a false value. Else, if I'm able to respect all possible position, then I would return true at that instance. Okay, so this was a thing where you already knew Floyd Warshall, then this would have been easy. Else, this would have been a tough. But you can simply kind of move forward with something known as copy pasting. Okay, this was the solution. I would provide you the solution also, but the knowledge of Floyd Warshall was a prerequisite here, or the or if you are good with copy pasting. Like एक बार पढ़ा भी होता तो like you can just copy paste and move forward. So now many people are asking me कि copy pasting. So basically, to be honest, this is not copy pasting thing. Like if you already knew Floyd Warshall, you would be able to memorize it. But it is already a famous thing. Like let's say I have read about binary search, but while implementing it, I am not able to. Like I need binary search in some of my solution, inside of my solution. Okay, but I'm not able to really remember the syntax of binary search. So I would simply search binary search and then I would use it. So all the resources which were existing before the contest and you are using those resources to solve a problem, then it is not considered as cheating or something. If you are copying solution is a different thing. But copying the idea is a different thing. Okay. So let's sum it up again because I'm getting a lot of hatred again and I can't really help it. Like you all can justify, but this is not really cheating because Floyd Warshall was already out there on the internet long before. Let's say I had a book which had Floyd Warshall code and I saw the code and then used that code in my new question. Then it is not cheating. So now I saw this, I built out a graph and I saw this. Then I saw that the graph, these are the properties of the graph that is there. And I want a feature of this. This feature can be done by Floyd Warshall. So either I learn Floyd Warshall and then take up this problem, or either I have learned about Floyd Warshall, but I kind of forgot the syntax. So I simply used it. So let's say this is cheating. But let's say I want to implement min heap priority queue. Min heap priority queue has a long syntax. I'm not able to remember it. And the question demands. So if I write min heap priority queue C++, and if I see this, okay, like you have already seen that I have already visited this. If I see this, if I open up this problem and I copy the syntax of mean heap priority queue, if I copy out the syntax of mean heap priority queue, which is this, then will this be considered as cheating? No, I already know. It might be the case I forgot the syntax, so I kind of saw it. In some problem, I required mean heap. I'm not able to remember the syntax. That would be a foolishness to kind of skip the question. Like thanks a ton for saving me with this hatred. Like these all things. Like it is kind of very irrational. So I can't say that. Like I can't really go move forward and say, okay. So yes, if you want current mushroom, sir, it is fine, but kindly be a little bit clear in your mind. So code is sent. Contestants are supposed to code without copy pasting. Yes, but if I forgot the idea, I can just look at the idea and then I can again revise that idea. You should show that you can write code without copy pasting. Yes, true. This thing I accept. Yep, I accept this. But if let's say I forgot the idea, then I just thought of it, then it is fine. Yep, this point is very good enough. I accept this. I'm a human, I'm bound to make mistakes sometimes. This is correct. This approach was wrong. But yes, you can kind of see that idea again. This is also true. So we both are kind of correct. You are also correct. I'm wrong at that point, and I'm also correct in some other perspective. There was a problem in perception. Yep. Yep. So that was the idea. A small mistake from my side. I apologize. Okay. So that was it from my side. If you have any concerns or queries, you can ask me in the next 1 minute. Else, I would turn off the stream, and I would, like, if you're watching this stream in the recorded version, or if you were up till now, till this point of time, consider liking the video and commenting on the video so that the reach of this video could be increased and this work could be justified. And I can also smile while reading your comments. अच्छा लगता है, सबको तारीफ अच्छा लगता है. Okay, तारीफ तो सबको ही अच्छी लगती है, मुझे भी. That was a small mistake from my side. I should have told that आप एक बार आइडिया ले लो, उसके बाद आप इम्प्लीमेंट कर लो. Like, I'm just clear with my Hindi. It might be a scenario it took wrong. Yes, अगर आप कोई आइडिया भूल जाते हो तो एक बार आइडिया रिवाइज करके वो क्वेश्चन सॉल्व कर लो. But directly copy pasting is not a thing that you should do. Sorry about that. And most of the contest, copy pasting is disabled. Okay, let me tell you that also. To be honest, I copy pasted it because I would just tell you my scenario also. एक बार मेरा perspective भी सुन लो. होता ये है कि if I just showed you Floyd Warshall and then I would showed the code, then people would tell me that where from this code has appeared. Then I again had to tally it like I did in my in-order traversal. So that is why, to not have that issue, I kind of told that, see, this is a copy paste of this. So I kind of had that intuition in my mind, which kind of made it look like, yes, I am promoting this copy pasting thing. Sorry about that. Goodbye, everyone. I apologize. Thank you. Happy weekend.